Or better yet, where can I look for help? The psalmist answers that question with a confession of faith. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. The psalmist doesn't look to nature for help. After all, those hills might be hiding bandits or animals of prey. The psalmist's help comes from the one who made the hills and who created the animals. The hills may obscure some threat, but also by their very existence, they bear witness to the Creator. What does God promise to do? He promises to keep you. He promises to look out for you. The psalm was likely written as a song that pilgrims would sing on their journey up the hill to Jerusalem, where they could carry out some of the ritual sacrifices they were obliged to do. The psalm reminds us that the God who made the heavens and the earth watches over us and cares for us. Similarly, God will guard and keep you on your pilgrimage through life until you return home to heaven. God will watch you as you come out into this world and watch over you as you go back into his world. We'll do that later. Isaiah 61, verses 1 to 3, tells us of a treasure, something of great value that God has put in us, with which we can bless people as they meet us. Isaiah writes, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, and to provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them the crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair." This is a privilege that each and every one of us has, to share God's message of good news with other people. And you might think to yourself, but I'm not qualified to do something like that. I'm not gifted. I don't wear one of those funny shirts. I didn't go to a seminary. I haven't memorized 250 Bible verses. What can I do? That's easy. You can tell the love of Jesus. You can say what Jesus has done for you. Now, you're imperfect. So am I. I recall on November 13th, 1977, which is the day I was ordained as a pastor in the Lutheran Church of America, that Pastor Dan Rolick, who had been my internship supervisor, preached the sermon. And he quoted this verse from our New Testament lesson to me, and he said, "Ken, just keep in mind, people are going to defer to you, they're going to call you pastor, they're going to invite you to their homes, they're going to serve you meals, they're going to introduce you to their daughters." Well, I'm not going to do that. You're going to be treated like a celebrity. You're not. You're not the treasure. You simply contain the treasure. You're like the clay pot. And knowing you as well as I do, Ken, it's a cracked pot. And he was right. I am a cracked pot. I'm imperfect. I'm flawed. But God is good. God is holy. God is perfect. And God has called me, just as he's called you, to be the bearer of his good news. Psalm 121. I lift my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. This is our psalm. From Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verses 5 through 12. St. Paul writes, "For we do not proclaim ourselves, we proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your slaves for Jesus' sake. For it is the God who said, 'Let light shine out of darkness,' who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure in clay jars, so that all may be made clear that this extraordinary power belongs to God and does not come from us. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying in the body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be made visible in our bodies. For while we live, we are always being given up to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus may be made visible in our mortal flesh. So death is at work in us, but life in you." And this is our second lesson. I'm done. Grace to you and peace from our